Video walkthrough on a Heartland Pioneer. Start in the back. If you can see up there, you're pre-wired for a backup camera. Does not have one, you're just pre-wired for one. And then it does use power from these marker lights up here, so the running lights on your tow vehicle do need to be on for that camera to be functional. Coming around, you have a cable inlet. This is where you hook up cable if wherever you're going provides cable. If you have it at home, you can hook up cable through there too as well. Fresh water, this is where you're going to fill your onboard fresh tank. Just stick your hose in there, rest it in there, don't jam it in there. Turn it on and start filling. You want to watch its progress from the monitoring panel. You don't want to wait until you hear water squirting out everywhere to tell it's full. I definitely recommend draining your freshwater tank after every trip. You don't want it sitting half full of water for months if you didn't end up using all your water you drained for that. There's going to be that longer one down there. The two shorter ones are going to be your low point drains. Your low point drains are going to be the drains for the lowest point of your water lines. We use that for if you're doing your own winterizations and whatnot. Black tank flush right here. Don't confuse this with your city water. This is where you're going to stick your hose to. When you dump your black tank, there's a little sprayer in the tank. You can turn on the hose. It'll spray out the tank, kind of get the residue off the walls and keep it clean. You only want to do that when you're when you're draining the black tank. Otherwise, you're just going to fill it with water, and then it'll come out your toilet. It'll be no good. Exhaust for your furnace, just keep it clean. See you need a in there, clean it out of there. They do make screens for these. They really don't recommend you run them with the screens on, though. Range vent exhaust. If you're going to use your fan on your range hood, make sure that this is open. When you travel, I always recommend clipping it shut. You can, yeah, it can be a little finicky. There you go. Clipping these shut like that to keep if I'm flapping around when you're driving on the road. And I always close it overnight to keep insects from crawling up in there. 30 amp short cord. It's your short cord. You twist this on, and then you can tighten this on. Extra security, so it doesn't accidentally get unplugged. Right over here, this is where you're going to dump your tanks at. So the one on your left is going to be your black tank. So the one on your right is going to be your gray tank. I always give these little push in to make sure they're absolutely closed before I take the cap off. And then I do black tank first, let that get all the way drained. And then I do gray tank so it can flush out the sewer hose, that when you pick up to move your sewer hose, it's not dripping in black tank water. Now, none of these come with sewer hoses. That's going to be something you have to purchase on your own. City water. This is where you hook up water to one. Hook up your water from a hose to run off a city water pressure. You won't need to use your pump in that case. Then right below that, outdoor shower with both hot and cold. It's nice to have that. Water heater is very simple to use. The only thing you guys will have to do when you get this, put your plug in there. We never put them in there, so when we test them, we can let all the water drain out, because if we leave water in there with a plug in it and you guys don't use it for a month, that water in there is going to be stagnant, so we always leave the plugs out. 15/16 is the socket size. Get it started by hand. Tighten it the rest of the way. It is plastic. You don't want to strip the threads out. Once you get the plug in, as soon as you hook up water, whether it be from your city or having your pump on from your fresh tank, it's automatically going to fill your water heater up. Once it's full, you'll be able to kick it on. Just like your fresh tank, definitely recommend draining it after every trip. You don't want it sitting half full of water, just like I explained. So before you pull your drain plug out, shut off all sources of water. Then you're going to open up your pressure relief like that. Water will squirt out here. Sometimes it's just air, but as soon as it stops, snap that closed. And you want to make sure you snap this closed rather than do that. It gets the best seal when you snap it, so it doesn't continue to drip out of there. Once the pressure is relieved, then you'll be good to take that out. If you neglect to do this first, all that pressure that you should have relieved through here is now coming up to there, and you're going to get a hot bath, because if you've been running it. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And then another thing to look out for is you're going to want to make sure you clean in here and down in there, and then this whole area a couple times a year. I say 4 times a year. Every changing of the season is the best time to remember to do that. All right, some more stuff. You have gross vehicle weight rating, well, yeah, right here, 7,500 pounds. That's not the dry weight of the trailer. That's the maximum weight this trailer everywhere. So that's your dry weight plus your cargo carrying capacity in water, stuff like that. You have a cargo carrying capacity of 1,476 pounds. Now, the most important number really is this one right here, 65 psi. Go off of what that says, not what your tires say. And then I definitely recommend checking that before every trip. Battery, Group 24 RV marine grade battery. Brand new battery, you don't have to worry about getting a new battery after buying this. Winter, I recommend taking it out, storing it somewhere a lot warmer than being outside, garage, basement, shed, anything, just being sat outside all winter long. And then, in the summer, if it's going to be a long time between trips, I recommend disconnecting the negative lead off your battery. That's going to be the white one. That's going to keep anything from using the battery while you're away. Dual 20-pound cylinders, all filled, so you don't got to worry about that either. Right here you have an automatic changeover regulator, so it's pointing to this tank. It's going to pull from this tank first. If you were to have both tanks on, so if this one were to be on, and this one would get emptied, it's going to automatically switch to pulling from this tank. However, this doesn't move, indicating it switched tanks, because you can select what tank it pulls off of. But this won't move automatically when it switches, so you don't have any way of telling that it switches. So just keep that in mind. And then some people think putting it in the middle like that is going to pull from both tanks. Those people are wrong. It's one or the other. Power tongue jack with a light. Beats hand cranking every day of the week. Do have 7-way. This is what's going to get hooked to the back of your truck to allow the trailer lights and brakes to work. You are required to have a brake controller in your truck for the trailer brakes to work. And if you don't have a brake controller in your truck, you have to have us install one before we let you take this trailer. Because anything over 2,000 pounds is required by law to have brakes, and we couldn't in Goodwill let you leave without having brakes. Chains, when you hook them up to your truck, you're going to cross them like any other trailer would. That's going to create like a cradle to catch it if anything were to come undone. And then you do have a breakaway cable here. This will get hooked up to your truck as well. That way, if anything would happen and the trailer were to get unhooked for some reason, it's going to pull that pin out of the box, activate the brakes on the trailer. Coming around, some storage. Here, you have 2 cranks. One of them is going to be a backup crank for your stabilizer jacks. One of them is going to be a backup crank for your your tongue jack, rather. The skinny one, the skinny ended crank is going to be for that as a backup for your stabilizers. Speaking of your stabilizers, let's talk about your stabilizers. They're stabilizers, they are not levelers. Let's get that out of the way with. They're not meant to pick up the weight of the trailer. They can't actually handle picking up the weight of the trailer. You amp out the motor. You could break the motor, bend the jacks. There is a self-resetting breaker in there, so that'll trip. So you just do one, and then boom. That snugged them down. It's going to get all the shake and shimmy out of it. If you want your trailer to be level, you're going to use your tongue jack to level it front and back. If you really want it side to side as you're backing in, blocks under your tires as you back in to get it level side to side. These jacks, like I said, aren't meant to handle picking up the weight of the trailer, so do not use them to raise the front or raise the rear. Use your tongue jack to do that. Outdoor power, it's GFCI protected. All your GFCIs are in the same circuit, so if one will trip, all of them are going to trip. Cable, outdoor cable outlet, so if you have like a table out here, you can set a TV on it and watch TV outside. And then you have the other controls for the rear stabilizer jacks. Alright, first thing I'm going to do while I come in here is turn the AC off, just so you guys don't have trouble hearing. So, light switches here, one on the left, the main lights in here, one on the right, awning lights. Switch above that is your pre-wired for the WineGuard Wi-Fi extender. If you don't actually have it, you're just pre-wired for it. And above that, controls for your awning. Your awning does not automatically stop when it reaches this most outward position. That's something you're gonna have to look at and let go of the switch for. And yes, you do have to hold on to the switch as it's running out. And that's what it'll look like when it's all the way out. They are adjustable. You have these D10s right here on either side. Pinch these in, grab the awning here, and slide, push in or out like that, or up. What it'll do is it'll raise and lower the corner of the awning. You can do that on both sides. The only reason I'm not doing it is because you need two hands to do it, and I'm filming. But there are instructions right there to do it right there. Alright, just make sure that you're both on the same setting when you return your awning back in. So it doesn't matter which setting they're at, as long as they're both on the same one. So now if you have it out when it's raining, that's fine. But if it starts getting a heavy storm, heavy winds, even when the rain starts getting more aggressive, roll your awning in. It's not worth trying to wait it out or thinking, oh, it's fine. The wind can tear this fabric. The wind can bend these awning arms. It could rip your whole awning off if it's aggressive enough. So when you get the heavy winds, roll your awning in. Definitely, if you roll it in wet because of the rain, as soon as you get the chance to, let it roll it back out to let the sun dry any of the water off. You don't want it held in, rolled up for an extended period of time with water in it. Radio, super simple. You got power button right there. It's your volume knob. You got different modes right here. So select your modes there, like Bluetooth and whatnot. Select your channels. These are presets. You can push and hold to save a preset. You have an auxiliary hookup and USB. USB does not interface. It's just for charging your phone. You have different zones. So if you hit, see, this is zone 1 and zone 2. If you hit band, it's just going to cycle through your band, right? But if you hit and hold, it's going to turn zone 1 off. So it's going to turn the inside speakers off. So now just the outdoor speakers are off. And then vice versa. Hit and hold zone 1, so now zone 1's back on. Hit and hold zone 2. Now the outside speakers are off, so you could have just the outside ones off or just the inside ones off. Both off, both on. It's all up to you. And then power, push and hold, turn it off. Below that, USB ports. Again, that's just going to be for charging your phone. Below everything right here too. Breaker box. All your breakers for your 120 volt appliances. All your fuses for your 12 volt. Definitely recommend carrying some spare fuses. What over there? Propane and carbon monoxide gas alarm hardwired to the 12 volt system. There are no batteries you have to worry about changing. However, the battery on the vehicle, the one I was showing you in the box up front by the propane, if that were to start to lose energy, then that will give you like little low voltage chirps. Just plug the camper and let that battery get charged up. We'll kind of start in the back area. You have a table here. All you gotta do to set it up is pop them legs and the leg holders, and then you pop the table on top of those legs, then you have a nice spot to sit. If you're gonna use this to haul your toys, because this is a toy hauler, set your back cushions aside. We'll just put them over there for now. Lift these up, right? You got these legs that you would fold up. All you do is just move them. There's no buttons or pins you have to do. You do have these straps. They get strapped to these spots right there behind the window. There's one for here, and there's another strap for here, for right there as well. Both of these work the same way, this side and to that side. And then you do have some vents here. Squeeze this right here. There's a spot to squeeze. Rotate like that. You have a little vent. So if you're pulling like a golf cart or some dirt bikes in here, you can have it ventilated a little bit. Microwave looks like standard household microwave, only going to work if you plugged in. Light and a fan. Remember what I said about that fan, making sure you have that flap open when you're using it. Cooktop, super simple. Fold up and back. Turn these to light. twist your igniter. Now the gas is off, so obviously it's not going to light. But you twist them to light, twist your sparker. Burners will light. All 3 burners work the same. Oven works a little bit differently. See, I'm hitting the sparker. It's not sparking down there. You have to turn this to pilot. You can see it right there. Push and hold. As you're pushing and holding it in on pilot, you're going to try to manually light that pilot right there. Barbecue lighter, match, whatever you got. Once it's lit and you're confident it's lit, when you let off when you let off like that, it should stay lit. Then you can set it to your temperature you want. It's kind of hard to read, but they're there. Alright, now if you plan on cooking again in a couple hours and you don't want to relight the pilot, you know you're not going to be leaving the trailer. If you turn it to pilot on, when you turn it off, it shuts the burners off but leaves the pilot on. Definitely don't recommend going to bed with a lit pilot or leaving this trailer unattended, or like leaving your site for more than half an hour, because it's a lit pilot. You just don't want to leave it unattended, because who knows, something could happen. Just a safety thing. Fridge is super simple to use. You have on or off, and then auto or gas. Definitely recommend just leaving it on auto. Auto is going to default to 110, so if you're plugged in, that's what it's going to use. Now, if you were to lose power and you're on auto, it's going to automatically switch to running off for propane, provided you have 12 volt and provided your propane would be on. Now, unlike your normal fridge at home or mini fridge or anything like that, whether you're running this on gas or electric, it takes 8 to 10 hours to get to operating temperature. Repeat, 8 to 10 hours. So please plan your trip accordingly. Give yourself time to let your fridge get cold before you start putting food in it. Thermostat for your AC in furnace, very simple to use. Just tap it. First mode is what it's going to ask is what fan mode you want, auto, high, or low. I recommend just leaving on auto. Auto is going to allow your AC to cycle on and off at your set temperature. So if you had it set to 65, once it reaches 65, it'll shut off and cycle back on as it starts getting warmer in here. If you'd had it on high or low, once it reaches 65, it's not going to shut off. It's going to continue to run, and what will happen is your AC will freeze up, and you'll have to wait for it to thaw out before you can return your AC back on. That auto is going to help prevent that. After you selected what mode you want, hit it again, go to cool, which is your AC, hit it one more time, go to your furnace, hit it one more time, turns everything off. Very simple to use, not much to mess up here. Only other thing that can be a little finicky with these is these switches can be a little sensitive. If you accidentally hit up and down at the same time, it switches itself to Celsius. Just hit them back to go back to Fahrenheit. Unless you're like reading it in Celsius. Alright. We'll come on into the bathroom. Bathroom's got your main resetting GFCI, so if any GFCI would have tripped, this is the one you're going to come and hit reset on. Right next to that, you have your monitoring panel. You can read battery, fresh, black, and gray. Your battery will always read full, even if you... anytime this camper's plugged in. I can take the battery out the front right now and plug it in. It's going to read full. You have controls for your water pump, so if you're going to use water from your fresh tank, water heater on gas and electric. You can run gas and electric at once together. Or you can do one or the other. Gas gets hotter quicker. Electric uses no propane, so you can save yourself some money on propane. If you are going to run electric, make sure you do have water in your water heater. Otherwise, you're going to burn out the heating element. The switches right here. Left does fan. You also have a crank to crank open the lid. Definitely recommend running your fan when you're taking a shower. And to the right of that does your main bathroom lights. Toilet. Super simple. As long as you're pushing this pedal down right here, you're going to continue to flush. Shower, very easy when you're traveling. Make sure you have this retained like this so the door doesn't swing open on you. Unclip it, undo it back there. Very simple. You have hot and cold in there. And then you can also turn the water on and off at the shower head. Similar concept to your shower door when you're traveling. Make sure your bedroom door is retained like that. When you're not, unclip it and just slide it open and closed. Or closed and then open. And then make sure you retain this before you travel. If I can get there we go. Just like that. Light switch for in the bedroom here. Emergency exit, very easy to use. There are instructions on it, but we'll show you. Lift this up and out, push it out. You can set it like this to use it as a regular window to get some airflow, or you would push this up and out, all the way out, grab this, pull the screen out, and then jump out the window. You'll probably never have to use your emergency exit as emergency exit, but they have to be here by law, and I like to show people how to use them just in case. Spot for a TV. They didn't put a sticker on here since it's a stick and tin. You can feel right here where it's nice and solid, and then right here how it's not. So you can mount a TV here, or you can feel in this wall again too. You can feel the solid spots where you'd be able to mount it. But if you're going to mount it on this wall, don't use the screws that come with the mount. I wouldn't on this wall either. Generally, they're too long. They're meant for 2x4 walls, studded walls. These are definitely not that. You will poke a hole through the outside of the camper. And if you did that, that's not warranty. That's customer damage. Then you have an outlet for your TV. And then coax. So if you have your TV plugged in here, if you're using your antenna, make sure this light is on. The booster, if you're using cable, turn that off. You do have a light above your bed right there. That one you can turn on and off. And then an outlet on either side of the bed. That is just a blank cover. That's access to awning wiring. And then the nice thing is you do have storage, plenty of storage up underneath your bed. All right. So a few more things. I showed you the LP alarm and the carbon monoxide alarm. The smoke detector, I just glossed over that. That uses standard 9-volt batteries. If that starts getting you low voltage, if that starts chirping at you, you know it's time for a new battery. It's definitely different than an alarm, so keep an eye on that. All right. Well, that concludes our video tour of your Heartland to Pioneer. I hope you folks... Oh! We didn't cover this. Spot for a TV in here. Power, and then switch here. Does. The switch over here does... You can see how this blue... You can kind of see a hint of blue on your steps. That's for blue LEDs underneath your trailer. Now, we are done. Apologize for the preemptive finishing. I hope you folks enjoy using this trailer. I like these Pioneers a lot. You get a lot of stuff for toys and whatnot. Hope you found the video informative. Until next time, goodbye.